Hi friends, my name is Asim Jan and today we learn about interfaces in Go. So it's a very important topic. So I'll explain you with live coding so it's easy for you to understand. So first thing, like there is no object, like no classes. So how do you implement an interface? Like in Java, because a class implements an interface, right? So how it happens here? So here the interfaces are implicit and they are based or implemented on the type. So how does it happen? It's simple to code and difficult to explain. So as you see code, it would be easier for you. So we have a bot. So we are trying to create a chatbot application, and this is how you create an interface. This is the interface. Now interface will have some methods inside it. So typically interfaces in any language is something which gives you a contract of the API application programming interface, like what would be the input, what would be the output or the return type, and what would be the method name. So let's say you have a bot which does some chatting and it returns probably nothing. It prints something, or you might return string. Let's say string. We'll code live code and we'll see. So this is your interface. Now how this would get implemented. So I'll cover all these points in detail, but in general, like interfaces are not generic type. They are implicit. I'll explain you in a bit, and interfaces are a contract to help us manage type. So this is one type. Now I have two bots, chatbots. One is, let's say, a Russian chatbot and an English chatbot. So how would I do it is I would have a type which would be the Russian bot of and the struct, something like that. So this is how I am just making an empty struct, and then I am making the English chatbot. So these bots will do, or maybe let's say Spanish, it's easy, right? So we have two chatbots. So we are not like class has properties, right? So we are just, for simplicity, are leaving it blank. No properties, no object properties or attributes. Now talking about the methods. So in method, we can have a greet method, right? So how would I connect that greet method? So let's say greet. This is your greet method, and greet method takes nothing and probably returns a string, and then this is your function. So you say func. So you have a func with name greet which returns string, right? Now you would say return, and then you can tell anything with this. So we have to use a receiver. So what we'll do is we'll have two functions like this. One would English hola, which is the Russian thing, and then hello, which is the English thing. So we can have the receiver here, the function receiver, which would be bot eb, English bot, and then this will be a bot which would be Russian bot, Russian bot. So far so good, everything looks great. Now let's make the func main and then just run things simply. So you have fmt dot print do something. So there is something which is not right. And what is that thing? So you have the main func which is defined. So we are trying to define function within a function. That was the problem. Now everything is kind of cool. Let me just format the code. This is here. So we have a Spanish bot. Everything is cool. Now, so you need to call these functions polymorphically. So how would you do that? So one way of calling the greet is you can create two objects. I would say the types of strut. So I would say ENG English bot, and this would do the initialization and assignment for the type this. So you have got the English bot. Similarly, you have got the Spanish bot. So you can say it as Spanish bot here. So this seems simple. Now this is unused, right? So you need to use it. So you could do English bot dot greet method, which is good, right? But you want to call like in both this method using the polymorphism or using the interface way. So how would you do that? To do that, let's say if you want to chat, so if you somehow connect or implement this method in both of these, then you would be able to call it polymorphically, which means that, so let me just finish this first. So you have a Spanish bot. So this is currently, connected to a particular method, these things. But to use through interface, now we would try that, how to use it through the interface. So first thing is you don't have to extend anything, but what you would do here is you would say you have a method func, and then this method has chat and it returns a string, and this is how we would say, what would you return? So this has to be respective stuff, right? For the each guy, for both of these guys, right? So you can do b of type bot, and then we can do fmt dot print, and we say bot dot chat. This is the method which would get invoked, and then we would return bot dot chat again. So this is saying that bot is not a valid thing here because we are trying to implement it on the interface. So you cannot do that. So what do you do now? So you have to do the specific implementation. So specific means you are doing it here for the EB, like the English bot. So English bot would do the chat, and then when actually it is chatting, what is it doing is, so this would be a recursive thing. So it would go inside a loop, like you're going here, and then again you're calling this and calling this. So what do we do here is we'll just print the greet method here, and then we would return the greet here too. So we have a chat method which is implemented in one English bot, and same thing we will implement in the Russian bot, the Spanish bot. So it would call the respective method for the Spanish bot. So our interface, and then let's say the concrete, the implementer. So interface and implementer are all there. Only thing which we need to do here now is to invoke them. So how would we invoke that? So to invoke that, we can do fmt dot println, and then we can call, either we can call chat method, or we can call bot method, and bot would have a chat. So bot method would be called in the chat actually. So let's pass the bbot here actually. So once you pass this, no, actually, not like this. So you have a chat method, but you can have another method, func, F-U-N-C, talk to me. And what would this method do is it would just take the bot, any bot, and then once it has the bot, it would start chatting. So once it chat actually, so this thing is the bot. So whatever is the implementer of bot will we are running the chat method inside it. And chat method has been implemented by both um, English and Spanish bot, and this is internally returning the internal details. So guys, I'm sharing the GitHub code link. So look at the code and run it. I know it's not that simple, but it would work, believe me. So how would it work? So we'll call the method now. Which method? Talk to me. So we would say talk to me. And we'll first say English bot, talk to me. And then we would say Spanish bot, talk to me. So now we'll run this. So we are running it now. Yay, we got the hola and we also got the hello. So let me do print ln so it's more clear. Now would run it again. See, so this is the interface. So let me just recap it real quick. So first thing is when you created an interface, it was independent, and whatever were the implementers, they were just implementing the method. So for example, if this doesn't implement the method, for example, then you would get the compilation error. So Golang is smart enough that you don't have to type and tell this explicitly. Implicitly, it says what it says. It says the method is missing. So some of the method are missing. So if you are trying to call the reference via interface, so this was the interface. And what we were doing is talk to me was having the reference of the interface, and internally it was calling the implementer. But since the method was missing in one of the implementer, you even got the compile time error. So once the method has been implemented, you see everything is good. For example, even the signature is different. For example, so as string, not string, sorry, I stink. So this is how you say that the methods are missing. So any class you create, so long as it it has a method which satisfies the contract, which means implicitly it follows that interface. So it is as simple as that. So these were the key points, that it doesn't have any generics, and then they are implicit. You don't have to use implements or pass any class, nothing. Like, it's simple. And then interfaces are a contract to help us manage the type. And then there are interface documents actually, which you should read, and then it can give you a lot of the documentation, how things works and what are the types, return types, etc. There is a famous example in Go. By example, you would find the same thing is happening here. So you have a geometry interface. It has two class, parameter and area. So rectangle and circle are two different structure, or you can just synonymally say class. So these are the two classes, and they are implementing all these four functions. So whenever you would call measure, which is a common method basically here, you would pass the class or the struct, which would ultimately call the methods which are an interface. So area would be respectively called by the rectangle with the formula, and parameter with its formula. Same will happen with the circle. So I'll also share this code with you. I have also implemented this, but I have implemented it in a little different way. So I would request you also try the hands-on, and if you have any questions, you can leave in the video. Thanks for watching and share this video. I hope you got the concept of interface. Bye-bye.